All right, 10:30 on the dot, on the Dorchester, as they say back home. Huh? Hello, friends. Hello, friends. I'm being silly. I am silly. It's okay. Silly is good. You know what? Isn't it funny? I have a haircut appointment in like a few hours with my guy. And yeah, my hair finally doesn't look too bad, except for this little part and this little part. Anyhow, hey, enough about me and my hair. Welcome, everybody. I am Beth, Destination Decluttered. Nice to see folks showing up because this isn't about me. Not at all. It's about you. It is about how can I help you today. Good morning, good morning. Good morning, good morning. How can I help you get unstuck? Get decluttered and oh my MG, oh my FMFG, and my MSG. Get yourself started living that life you love. The decluttered life you love. Doop, doop. All right, excuse me. Okay. Piper says, just wanted to thank you. The other day I was just asking a lot of questions and I cleaned out 2 rooms already. Yay! See, you know what I want to thank you for? Here, I'm just going to plug in my phone. So here, look behind me. Here, quick. There we go. Just want to plug in my phone. All right. Piper, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for being brave enough to ask your questions to a complete stranger on the TikTok who you don't know. And being brave enough also to have the courage and the strength and the belief in yourself to say, you know what? I'm going to ask this question to a stranger in front of strangers. But you know what? The best thing you can do, everybody, notice how I'm always talking about the opposite of judgment is curiosity. And curiosity starts with a question. Why? Question mark. How? Question mark. Whatever. Curiosity opens up your world. So there we go. You helped me feel okay getting rid of the excess and it feels so good. Yay. You know what? I'm going to I love to kind of take those wonderful things. And of course I say, thank you very much. I do not underestimate your giving that to me. I will receive that, but I will also hand it right back to you and say, none of this would have happened without you. It's not about me. It's about you. And notice how when you showed up for yourself and you dared to ask a question, you got something in your head that helped you become unstuck and moving in the direction you wanted to, cleaning out the 2 rooms, feeling so good. That, my dears, is what it's all about for me anyway. You know, years ago, like I talk about writing down your destinations. I'm going to share this with you. I have worked all my life since 15 years old until now, and probably well into the next decade. And I realized at a certain point that I really would love to be able to do something I'm good at and enjoy that makes a better world a better place. I would love to, create an income. Basically, I mean, I do get paid one-on-one clients, but I want to do something that I'm good at, that I enjoy, and that makes the world a better place. And you just reinforced that what I'm doing that I'm good at and I enjoy is making the world a better place. So thank you. There we go. Piper is saying, I started with the clutter hideaway room and now everything else feels easier. Yeah, sometimes when you do that, when you're stressed about something, and then you look at the other stuff and you're like, oh my God, this is a piece of cake. Okay, best way to store blankets during the summer season. Good question, user 1946, laddie. Depending upon where you live. I think the goal would be, I guess I don't know if anybody even has wool blankets anymore, so you don't have to worry about moths and what do you call it? Mothballs. Listen to me, my Boston accent. Mothballs, Johnny. God, it got mothballs. I am flexible. I'll share what I do, and maybe this will help you. So I like to have flexible storage. I don't like it to be like if I have a space, like these squares behind me, I will then try to fill it up with something. What I have found is these kind of flexible bags that are made out of almost like that woven kind of plastic material that they have zippers on them. They're big and they have handles. I get them at IKEA. They're a couple of bucks. And I have found that those have been really helpful for me to store. Like I've got like what do you call it? Sleeping bag in one. I've got a comforter and some sheets in there. I've even got the sheets from like our camper in one. So maybe try that. The good thing is that it will keep them clean and safe, but it also will be able to be easily moved. And you can also like squish them down depending upon how big they are. They don't necessarily need to take up the room that they take up. Okay. Thoughts on the Marie Kondo method. I have space in my heart, in my life for everybody who's trying to help people with what they're struggling with. Um, I love that she has brought decluttering to the masses and to everybody, and what she does, a lot of it has worked. One of the things I didn't realize, because I didn't read Marie Kondo for years, because I don't know, I just didn't, was this whole does this spark joy kind of came from her. So I like that notion that she says, almost like have a conversation with your stuff. Does it bring you, what does it make you feel? You know, I thank my stuff after, you know, even when we leave for vacation, I say, thank you, home. You know, thank you, home. Take care of yourself. We'll be back. Like, I have conversations with my stuff. I do. You know, the thing that doesn't work for me, it's like, hey, sorry, I tried, but you know what? I'm going to hopefully give you another home. So I get that with Marie Kondo. That's what I drew from it. The one thing I will say is for me, and the way I live and the way I coach is, and this is again, your mileage will vary. Your systems you set up in your home for decluttering will work for you. What I found is some of her systems were frankly too, I want to say the word too fussy for me. There were too many steps. It was too perfection, as if like you had to, like if you opened up your drawer with your like underpants and socks in it, that like you had to immediately have it look like somebody was going to take like a Pinterest picture, right? I am not of that. I don't want to get too rigid, too detailed, too like, oh my God, I alphabetized my sock drawer. I would so much rather spend those few minutes doing something else. So I have like dividers in my drawers, and I put like, I'll just throw my like underpants in one, socks in the other, like kind of random, not socks, but like, what do you call them? Like slippery socks in another one. It works fine for me. Yeah, I might have to dig around for like a smidge to find a clean pair of underwear, but it works. So that's what I want to offer. Tennessee luxury real estate. Ooh, Tennessee luxury real estate. Ziplocs makes big bags as well. There you go. The one thing I do like, and I'm not, what do you call it? Hired by IKEA. I like the IKEA bags because they have zippers and they have handles, so I can like bring them down the basement and stuff. That's it. Laura is saying that we go. Yeah. Oh, I love it. Marie Kondo is based on the Japanese format. It has an expectation. Sometimes it works and sometimes it's not. Oh my God, that's all about me. Here's the deal. Here's what I love that, thank you, Melissa, for introducing that concept. So here's a lovely concept to think about with clutter. And here's a funny thing. I forgot to introduce myself. Hi, I'm Beth, Destination Decluttered. I'm a one-on-one decluttering life coach. I will be here on TikTok live for the next like 45 minutes or so. If you're interested in getting on my mailing list, destinationdecluttered.com is a place you can sign up. You'll get a free habit tracker and an invitation to a free Zoom. I also do one-on-one coaching for people. If you're interested in that, you can find out how to work with me on my my website, okay? But anyhow, what I want to offer and what I want to just have you think about, check this out, because this really works for me to desaturate it, to take the drama out of this. In our lives, we bring things into our lives with the hope that they are going to improve our lives. We bring in items, we bring in people, experiences with the hope. We see something in the store or on TV and we say, oh, that might make my life better in some way. So you bring it into your home, right? Think of something in your home that's now clutter that you initially brought in because you thought it was going to make your home better. And then this is what happens. You bring it in, you try it out. And then you find out sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. That's what's going to happen. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's not going to be perfect 100%. Things that you think are going to work sometimes don't. I thought it was going to be a great salt shaker. It didn't work out. Me keeping it wasn't going to all of a sudden make it better. So I passed it along to somebody else who might want it. Just know that this is a system. You think something is going to make it better, you bring it in, you try it out. If you try it out and it works, that's great. It's not clutter. Find a home for it. Use it in your life. If you use it and you find out it's not working for you, hanging on to it will not help you. It will actually hinder you because it'll drag you down. The best thing you can do when you find out something does not work for you is to find a way to easily and quickly release it out back into the wild so it might connect up with somebody else. It's almost like dating, like you date somebody and you're like, yeah, this isn't going the way I want. Like if we break up, if we stay, you're not going to change, whatever. But if I release you back into the wild, there's somebody else out there, who's perfect for you and vice versa. There we go. I have also heard that Marie Kondo has changed some of her clutter ideas since having her second child. I totally get that. And I totally get too that what I offer is from my own perspective, my age, my gender, my upbringing, my marital status. All of these things play into what works for us. So I want to also offer, get curious about what will work for you and what your life situation is, how much energy you have, how much time, how big your house is, how many kids do you have? Do you have any kids at all? Do you work? All those things are going to play into you. And what I love to do is when I'm doing one-on-one coaching, I help people create solutions that work for them, for where their brains work, for where their houses are, their lives are. So it's tailored to them so they are more likely to succeed than if they're trying to kind of fit their organic life into some rigid kind of framework. There we go. All these gadgets that the influencers push drives me nuts. It's more stuff. Yeah, I don't know what they push, but let me tell you, I think there's a certain thing about, will that make my life better or will it just fussy it up? I think about that with like, what do you call it? Like kitchen gadgets. So many kitchen gadgets are like a one-trick pony, where really probably all you need is a really sharp knife for a lot of that stuff, There we go. All right. What else do we have going on here? All right. So I am here, as I said, for the next 45 minutes, 10:40 Eastern to 11:30. Then I hop off. I have a day full of coaching my one-on-one clients, and I have some consultations with people who are interested in working with me. I will say, if you're interested in working with me on a one-on-one basis, the first step you do is you go to my website. There is a big orange button there that says work with me, but I'm going to give you a heads up, and I'm only doing this not to, I so don't cajole. I do not convince, I do not scare. I'm just being factful in the fact that I have limited consultations available. Literally, I think I've got one for this week, and then next week is holidays and stuff like that. What I may be doing, and I'm just going to offer this, I'm just going to let everybody know, I am completely transparent with so many things, which is when I begin to get at max capacity for coaching, the first people I'm going to let know that there are consultations available will be the people on my mailing list. Okay, so it behooves you to learn about your uvula. Am I right? It'll behoove you to learn about your uvula. It will behoove you to, if you're interested in one-on-one coaching, to just hop on my mailing list. It's free. I don't spam you. It's wicked easy. We do fun stuff. It's very low-key because I like to be kind of low-key with that stuff. I don't like to be constantly pestered by emails. But if you want to know about upcoming consultation availability, I'm always going to treat my people on my mailing list best first, because they're the ones who have been generous and shared their email address with me. So I respect that, and I want to treat you, I want to reward you for sharing that with me. Okay. Good morning. Good morning. Okay. So Rhonda Johnson 146. Rhonda is saying, I find it hard to part with my grandmother's kitchen things. Aw. You know what? That's an interesting thing that you brought up. Grandmother's kitchen things, because this is a wonderful opportunity for me to remind folks who have showed up before, but also to share with folks who are just tuning in, the 3 levels of clutter that I work with. So everybody think of this. Single thing in your home is going to fall into one of these 3 categories. Sometimes they overlap. You've got surface clutter, you've got stored clutter, and you've got sentimental clutter. So the interesting thing is your grandmother's kitchen things are both probably stored clutter, stored stuff, and sentimental stuff, right? It's kitchen things that are useful, but also they have that sentimental attachment that this is what my grandmother gets. I totally get that, Rhonda. What I want to offer to you is notice, is it more in the camp of a sentimental object, or is it really a kitchen object? And the thing that I think is the distinct difference is, are you able to use that in your kitchen to make your life easier, and it happens to be the thing that your grandmother owned, or is it something that she used but it doesn't really work out now, and that's just kind of hanging out there junking things up? I have a bunch of that stuff in my kitchen, or I have a lot less of it now that I kind of got clear on that, because, for example, I'll just share this really quickly. In our family, in my dad's side of the family, we have a recipe of these things called aga muffins, and it was like a combination of like meat and cheese and onions that you would grind up, and you would spread on like thin toast bread, and you broil it. So delicious. And we called them aga muffins after my great aunt Agnes. And when she died, one of the things, I helped clean out her apartment. And one of the things I kept, because it reminded me of her and it was useful and whatever, was this meat grinder, this old-timey heavy meat grinder that you would like attach to the side of the table with like a screw thing, and you go like this. And I used it for a while, but man, it was a pain in the butt to use to get that. Then I discovered that I could have the same effect. I could make the same. It was the only thing I also used for that. It was the only thing I used that grinder for was that recipe. And it was kind of a pain. Then I realized I could create the recipe using a more modern, like kitchen, like the little like the processor, food processor, right? So much easier. And I realized that like Aga and her recipes still live in my heart. I love her, but it allowed me to realize that the sentimental stuff reminds you of the person, but your feelings for them are in your heart. So I was able to say, you know what? I bet if Aga were alive right now and she realized there was an easier way to do this, she would totally do that. She would not stick to this old way because it's difficult. Her way was easier than doing it from scratch back in the day. Okay, so notice that your sentimental items are going to make you feel some things, but the feeling is here. The feeling is here. The feeling is not in the thing. All right? I hope that helps. Need tips on reducing but saving old photos and kids' keepsakes. Okay, Sam, a couple of things. One of the things I will offer that, especially with the photos that I've just suggested to my clients to just think about, and also somebody posted a question on my TikTok page about this as a comment on one of my videos. I will do a little plug here. If you haven't liked my TikTok page, please do that. It helps me know that I'm doing the right thing. It helps me show up more. And also I can then show you, you will be notified when I do TikTok lives because I do them often. This is where I write it down to remind myself to do them. But I've got it all written down here. So photographs, family photographs. This is where I love to be like a time traveler, right? You think right here, you think back to the day that like your family, what are the historic photos you have in your family, right? Notice how probably back in the history of your family, the technology probably was very limited. So there are very few old-timey black and white photos. Then technology changes and suddenly there's this explosion in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, and 80s, and 90s of printed photos that you got multiples of, that you could take a lot of photos. So all of a sudden the quantity expands of these photos, but what's the quality of them? How many of them do you really want to keep? So I say, knowing that, let's go into the future and imagine 100 years from today. What are the photos that your great whatever relatives, your future generations, what are the photos that they would want to see of your family and history? Probably not all of these. So pick out some good ones that you want added to your family tree. They don't need to see all your pictures from all your, I was walking down the street and I saw this tree, or I went on vacation. Pick out the good ones and keep those for the family albums, right? Also, if you have kids that have kids, give them the photos so their kids can see pictures of their parents when they were little. Start to put them next to the generations that are going to want to have a connection to them. And oh my goodness, if you know who the people are in these family photos, flip over the photos. And I typically talk about, I don't work a lot with digital clutter. Digital clutter, it's its own thing. But real photos, flip them over, get a pencil, write down the year, write down the people in them. Anything that's up here about those photos, write them down, because as soon as you die, that stuff they're going to be a whole bunch of mystery people. Okay. The other cool thing is kids' keepsakes. Ask your kids that you've kept them for if they want them. You have kept them in the hopes that they want them. They may not want them. Allow that to be okay, and allow yourself to release them if the answer is no. There we go. Tips to help 21 and 17-year-old kids go through bins from childhood. Yes, Alexa, make it fun. Make it fun. Walk down memory lane. Share with them your stories of them playing with that stuff. Ask them what they remember about those things. Make it a fun thing. Decluttering can be fun. Decluttering is stuff that you have in your home that you saved for a reason or another, so there's a thought behind it. When you kind of tell the story, when you get that out of you, it is going to be so much easier for you to make a better decision releasing it because you communicated about that stuff. Okay? And I truly believe that decluttering is a life skill. And it's you're never too young and you're never too old to learn it, because decluttering is a process of thinking, a decision making that aligns with what you want in your life right now and in the future. Okay? Hope that helps. 2 snaps up if you had a great time on your trip. I had a great time on my trip. Here, what do we got? Oh my God, can I just share with you? I had a client that totally called me out on this. Talk about habits. We all have habits. We have habits that keep us cluttered, decluttered, all the things. I play the little incidental, music when I'm scrolling through stuff to, entertain you while I am looking for new questions to answer. And I realized, I believe it is it reminds me of the theme song to The Price is Right from like the 1970s. Do 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 do. Tired Tales, how to lessen clutter with shopaholic roommates in main rooms. All right, you know what? I was talking to a one-on-one client this morning. It wasn't a shopaholic roommate, it was her daughter. And I said, hey, I am just curious. Have you, what I would offer is this. It's different when you have your own room. Your expectations for the shared spaces should be different. So I said to her, and I'll say to you, ask them to keep their own stuff in their own room. It should be okay that the main areas that you share with people are decluttered. Think about it. If you go to the park, you probably don't leave your stuff out in the same way that you might do in your backyard. Because your park is public with other people, your backyard is whatever you want. So you can have your room be however cluttered you want it to be. But if the clutter in the main rooms is not working for you, have a conversation with them. Say, hey, I saw this lady on TikTok and she said it was okay for me to ask you to put your stuff in your room. Have a conversation. Get curious why they're doing that. They may not even realize it's bugging you because everybody has a different level of everybody's got their own thoughts and feelings that make them feel a certain way about clutter. Some people really don't mind it. They don't even notice it. Some people really are bugged by it. Start with your vibe being in the right place, not judgy or argumentative, and say, hey, I just discovered that it's really bugging me that this is cluttery. Could you please just, get in the habit of putting your own stuff in your own rooms? Okay. I feel guilty getting rid of old silverware. There's sterling silver that I know, family silverware. Okay, how about using the family silver? We use the family silver. We don't use it often. My sister has it in a box, and she's typically the one who does holidays. So it gets used there, and it becomes good. So use the stuff you're saving. Do not just leave it in a box. Just use those things. What was it? Irma Bombeck said, burn those candles, burn the candles, eat the good food, all the stuff you're saving for a good occasion. Life is a good occasion. Life is worth using those things. I have started to do that myself, where there's stuff that I thought was kind of too precious to use. I make an excuse. I have a few pieces. Again, I mentioned my aunt, my great aunt, Aga, who was also my godmother. Listen to me, I'm from Boston. My godmother, Aga. And when she passed away, I was given a few pieces of the silver from her set. So I don't have the family holidays because of the way I live away from people. But when I have friends over for dinner or whatever, I will bring out the little dessert forks from her thing and I will use them. And I get to share the story of, yeah, this is from my family. Use those things. And if you're not using it and you don't want to use it, sell that sterling silver and put it towards something you do want. All right? There we go. What else? All right, so here's a funny thing. Who is it? Dreamgirl7. I recognize your name because I know you're West Coast. I'm in the early time zone. Just open my eyes, need coffee, wish for past lives can be awake. Okay, good thing for you, Dreamgirl. I was thinking about this myself. So when I do TikTok lives later on this week, actually it's tomorrow. Tomorrow, I rarely do this. I'm doing a TikTok live that starts at 2 p.m. Eastern. That's 11 for West Coast folks. So I'm taking you into account. I do a number of TikTok lives. I am East Coast, so I usually start in the morning because that's when I don't have clients and stuff, or I just work around them. The other thing too is I am also on TikTok. I'm on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. I am that way. So if you know people who are stuck with clutter and stuff, and they're not on TikTok, let them know that help is out there and that I do show up on those other platforms. I do lives there at least once a week for a half an hour. There's an email. No, not an email. There's a TikTok video that I did that has the schedule for where I'm going to be live this week pinned to the top of my TikTok page. I also posted it to Instagram and Facebook, and I think I did YouTube, not sure. That will show you when I'm going to be there. But I also, any of the videos that I post here on TikTok, I also then repost to the other places, okay? So if you know people who are struggling with clutter and they're not on TikTok, that's not an excuse. I'm other places they can get in touch, okay? Here's a good one. Somebody says, oh, tips for storing vacuums, brooms, etc. when you have no closets, small New York apartment. Ooh, you got to get creative with that. I don't know, under your bed, in a corner somewhere, behind a door, somewhere where you don't have to see it. Maybe there's a thing you can hang it on the wall behind a door so the door mainly stays open. Yeah, that kind of problem solving can be creative. That would be like a one-on-one thing where we'd have to talk about like, well, do you have space here? I don't know. This would be a lot of back and forth. But just, yeah, knowing how much space you have helps you get creative. What I would say is make it easy to access, but also that you're not looking at it the whole time. You know, there we go. Yeah, kids were going down memory lane. You just want to get it done. Enjoy memory lane with your kids because Alexa, what you're doing is you're creating new memories of that time that you did sit down with them and go through these things. You know, when you have it fun, when you make it fun, you're going to be more likely to show up, and do it. And so are they. There we go. So somebody said something and I just lost it again. Having a hard time trusting my sorting, rid, and keep decisions. Moki. Hey, Moki, I want to just ask, so why are you having, if I asked you, why do you have a hard time trusting your decisions? Just be curious about your answer. Why do you have trouble trusting your gut, trusting your heart? Sometimes it's because you don't know what you want your life to look and feel like. You know, there's all sorts of feelings and thoughts wrapped around stuff. Learning to trust your decisions and starting on it with easy stuff like clutter helps you build that muscle, that you're making a decision that aligns with the life that you want. It is a game changer, people, and it isn't just about clutter. It is about making decisions in other areas of your life too. Okay? So just do that. There we go. Sterling silver dinnerware. I have so much silverware. Everybody does. Use it. Use it. All right. What do we got here? How to manage your overstuffed closets. Okay. I am emotionally connected to items in my deceased parents' house. How do I remove grease from cabinets? There's like a cleaner out there for it. I'm sure that's, Dawn, listen to me, Dawn, my Boston accent. There's stuff out there. I bet you can Google it. I am not much of I do like to clean, but I'm more of a declutter person. Okay. Grace Pink, crying because you're exhausted and your house is a mess. All right. You know what? Take care of yourself. Do the things to keep you unexhausted. When you're exhausted, when you have no gas in your tank, I'm always using like a driving road trip metaphor. That's why I have these things behind me. You are here, you want to be there. You can't drive forward with an empty gas tank. Both metaphorically for yourself, but also your real car doesn't go. Do the things that are going to fill your tank up. Then you're going to be in a better position to make decisions and do the things that get your house less messy. Okay? All right, we've got a whole bunch of things. So I want to offer that there was a couple of things. So, okay, surface clutter, stored clutter, sentimental clutter. Okay, surface, we're talking about surfaces. How do I get the grease off of this cabinet? Wicked easy. You find that, you just do it. There's no emotion, there's no thought involved. Stored clutter, somebody said closets. Think about your stored clutter. Anything behind doors and drawers is stuff that normally, especially if it's stuffed, you're going to have to sort it before you store it. So you're going to have to, in order to get through it, pull out everything, categorize it, decide what you want. If you want to keep it, then you find a good way to store it. If you don't want it, you find an easy way to release it. And then you only keep the stuff that aligns with who you are now, and even more so, who you want to be. Okay? The sentimental items are probably stored somewhere. Allow yourself to feel the feelings. Get yourself to realize that the feelings do not live in the thing. The thing is a reminder. We are humans and we have the ability to imbue inanimate objects with such meaning, wedding rings, crowns, whatever. We can also take that feeling back from the thing, put it in our hearts, and make a better decision that aligns with us. There we go. Sentimental clutter, I'm going to share with you guys. Just know this. As I said, I use this road trip thing. Sentimental clutter is the one that I always say leave for last, because surface and stored are things that help you build your decision-making muscle. They are also going to allow you to just get used to showing up and making decisions about your stuff, decisions that make you feel good. right? So wait until you have built your muscles up for that. Also, that is the part of the journey to being decluttered that is going to take the most amount of time, and you're going to see the least amount of visual results. I could sit here for a half an hour and spin out about, do I want to keep this tiny salt shaker or not? Oh, well, I use it used to be so-and-so's, I don't know, whatever. Time is ticking, and at the end of the day, I've got that amount of time allowed me to make this amount of square footage in my house, right? That's why I suggest to you to start, oops, just dropped something, pick it up with my toes. Start with the stuff that's going to make the biggest visual impact, positive visual impact in your life. Because when you start seeing the difference, it's going to feel better. And when you feel better, you're going to do better. And you're going to be more likely to show up. And then the great thing is that like you can have your home 75% decluttered just by going through surface and stored items that don't have emotional attachment. When you do that, you then get to every day live in a home that is done like that. Then when you're used to living in that home, when you're feeling good about it, then you'll be able to go through, okay, the sentimental clutter. I love this. I've decided, yes, this one will be on YouTube. I'm like, yes, this one will be on YouTube. I will upload this. Upload today. What today is? 26th to YouTube. People have told me that they love to listen to the recordings of these TikTok lives when they are decluttering. So I repost the videos of these to the Destination Decluttered YouTube channel. So if you're ever looking for a live and I'm not there, just go over there and put one on. Pretend it's like a what do you call it? Like a podcast. It doesn't even matter what's on the screen. I have no interest on what I do on the screen. Pretty much I'm just pointing to where you are and where you want to be, right? So this one will be on there. So I will do that. And the other thing I want to offer, a lot of good things here. Okay, recently passed people. Yes, today I plan to go through all the stuff. Here's the thing, Jason, okay, go through some of the stuff. Go through some of the stuff. You know that feeling of do all the things. That's a wonderful energy, but that energy is not that long lasting. That's like a sugar rush. Pace yourself so that when you don't get it all done today, which you might not, if you do, rock on. But what I'm saying is if you start to get tired, if it becomes hard, if the decisions are arduous, if you're getting crabby, if you're running out of gas, know that that's part of the process. Stop there. Congratulate yourself on the progress you did make, and then feel good about what you did do so that tomorrow or the next day you show up again. It's not a straight shot. It's not a one and done. I equate this to, and this is if you were listening to this as a podcast, this is where I'm pointing at a pin on a map right here and a pin on a map further down the road. This is like trying to say, I want to drive to from Pennsylvania to Palm Springs, California in one straight shot with one shot of gas without making a break. It doesn't happen. It is a road trip. You're going to get tired. You're going to run out of gas. You're going to stop. And then what the best thing to do is to get up the next time, do it again. Stop, get up next time, do it again. Chunk it down into smaller things so it's not overwhelming. Okay, there we go. Here's an interesting thing. Seem to never get done with surface clutter. Feel I will never get to third sentimental category. Stacy Babbage, I bet you have habits that are causing you to reclutter the surfaces that you decluttered. Get curious about your habits, everybody. This is the great thing about the way I coach about decluttering is, some of it is heartfelt and what are your thoughts and your feelings that are driving your actions, and the sentimental. That's like the deep end of the pool. The wonderful thing is there's an easy peasy part of the pool, which is just noticing your physical habits of what do you do with your stuff when you come in the house? What are your habits that tend to get that? Get curious about why did that get recluttered? How did those things get there? If you have little people of Stonehenge or little gnomes or whatever come in and do that for you, please let me know. I would love to do a TikTok live with some little, kitchen gnomes. But no, you know what it is us just putting stuff down where we're kind of used to doing it, and then when you realize, oh, wait a minute, that's how it got cluttered, changing your habit to do something different so it doesn't get recluttered. Okay, there we go. All right, this one will be important papers that you have, so many. The whole house is filled with clutter. So Renee and Maggie, I'm bunching these together because I love the fact that when I do these TikTok lives, the only way we can communicate is you have to choose words to type in, right? And what I want to just suggest to you guys and to everybody is to pay attention to the words in your head, because they're going to make you feel a certain feeling. And when you feel a certain feeling, you're going to do a certain thing. So when you say the whole house is cluttered, I have so many important papers. Notice the kind of drama to the words you've chosen. I bet it feels a bit overwhelming. The whole house, all these papers. Overwhelm is a feeling and a thought that keeps you stuck. Overwhelm, what is the opposite of that? Is down. Think over, then say, nope, think down. I'm going to bring down that overwhelm from above my head in front of me so I can look down at it. I can chunk it down. I can write it down. Okay? So I just wanted to offer that if you feel overwhelmed, it's because you're looking at it too big. Too big. Where's my poor sad world that's starting to deflate because it was only like $2 on Amazon. Overwhelm feels like if you got the weight of the world above you, right? Oh my God, I'm so overwhelmed. It's all above me. No, you know what? You say, I can overcome the overwhelm. I take that overwhelm, I bring it down, and I say, oh, wait a minute. I'm just looking at it too big. Remember that road trip I was talking about? Now I got to squeeze it. If I was trying to get from Pennsylvania to Palm Springs using this as a map, no, I mean, this is a good thing to know oh yeah, I really want to go from here to there, but after that, I need a better map. And what you do is you chunk it down. And instead of doing that, what you do is you put in your destination to your Google Maps or your GPS or whatever, and then you go street by street, line by line, hour by hour, mile by mile. That's how you get there. So chunk down those overwhelm thoughts. I bet that entire house isn't all filled with sentimental clutter. I bet some stuff there isn't sentimental, or maybe it is just because it's imbued with like, oh my God, so-and-so used to use this. But some things are going to be, look at their clutter. Was that just their surface clutter? Was it their store cluttered? Or what were the sentimental things that were important to the sentimental people, right? And then say, okay, noting that all of this stuff belonged to them, what of their stuff do I want in my life, if any? The answer can be none. The answer can be, I don't want any of their stuff, and that's okay. That can be okay, because just because you don't love their stuff doesn't mean you didn't love the person. Just because you get rid of their things doesn't mean you're going to suddenly forget they existed and forget that you really cared about them. Okay? So just notice that the difference between what you feel and hear is usually just spurred by what you looked at. And if you want to remember those things, we have souvenirs for a reason. Then keep a souvenir. Maybe take a picture of something. Maybe a few things, but you don't have to keep all the stuff. Okay? Also with papers. Important papers nowadays. I want to offer, again, when we talked about this, I was an art history major, so I look at things through the historical lens. And think about it. Back in the day, even just a few decades ago, you really needed to keep a lot more papers in your life, but there were fewer papers. You kept track of your really important stuff because if you needed to replace them, it was a big hardship. You know, marriage certificates and deeds and mortgage payer or whatever, like the important stuff is. Nowadays, you guys, it's crazy to believe it's the year 2023. Our brains have yet to catch up with the technology that we have, which is pretty much any piece of paper now that you think you should be keeping is most likely a printed copy of an electronic document that already exists elsewhere. So get curious as to how important are those papers? Ask yourself, if I lost this, could I get it replaced? If I just, you know what I mean? Do I really even look at this thing that I think is important? And this is categorizing. This is stored clutter. And this is when you categorize your stored clutter. Okay. I see a bunch of messages here. I want to offer, I'm only on here for another 22 minutes. My name is Beth, Destination Decluttered. I highly recommend. I think this is the way it's going to be now because I've got a lot of people here on TikTok, which I love to chat with. But I have an email mailing list. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. I am always going to give first dibs to all the good stuff to the people on my email mailing list. So if you're interested in getting a free habit tracker, a PDF you can print out, track your habits that I use, works wonderfully. I give it away to you free when you sign up for my mailing list. You also get invited to a group Zoom call, which is kind of like this, only better because we're on Zoom. We do it once a month. I'm doing it early in the month now. I'm doing it July 13th. Sign up on my website, destinationdecluttered.com, and you'll see a form at the end of the homepage. There's also a join page. All you do is put in your email address. Wicked easy peasy. If you do that, you will also be the people that will find out first about when I have openings for my consultations for the one-on-one coaching I do. Okay. I'm just setting you up with that because I'm realizing that my schedule is getting wonderfully busy, but I want to set you up for success. So if you want to be kind of in with the in crowd, that's where you do that. Okay. Where do we go? There you go. Gina Marie Spaghetti says, I try to limit souvenirs to Christmas ornaments. That way they have a place. I did the same thing. And then I realized I don't even like doing Christmas tree. We have a Christmas, what do you call it? Wreath that if we get some of those, ornaments, and I don't even try to make it be like, oh, I have to get an ornament from every place, but we have wired in all of our ones. So we just take that and hang it up in the kitchen. We love it. So do what works for you, you know? My house is overfull because with my depression, I used shopping to make me feel better. Anna, I love the fact that you realized that there was a cause and effect. Being depressed, shopping made me feel better, but it used it, probably didn't last. What I want to offer to everybody is notice if you have a situation in your life, in your head, in your body that needs professional help. And I mean this with most sincerity, get the help that's going to solve the problem that you have the most. So Anna, I can help you. I can give you strategies for decluttering and stuff like that. But you know that if the depression is back there, you need to work on that first. And when you do that, it's going to make the decluttering so much easier. You know, I love that the fact, and notice how I have to pay attention to words here. You says, I used shopping. I used to use shopping to make me feel better. I'm hoping that your use of the past tense means that right now you realize that didn't work. And then when you realize that, you might be more easily to be able to let go. I did the same thing myself for years. I would collect stuff. It kept me distracted. It kept me focused on other things. It gave me that dopamine rush when I found something I was collecting. And that worked for a while for me. Even though it was allowing me something to do that made me avoid the bigger questions of my life, like, am I happy with my life? What am I doing? And all that stuff, because that was big and scary. That worked for a while until it didn't. So use the tools you have love for yourself that used to shop to make yourself feel better and say, oh, you know what? That didn't work. It did for a little while. Now it doesn't. That's okay. I love that person was trying the best with what she had. Love yourself now to get the help that's going to help you the most where you need it the most. And that's probably with your depression. That's one of the reasons I will say this, that I do consultations with the people I coach, because I want to make sure that what I offer is going to give them the results they need. And if it rarely happens that I have a consultation that does not end up in being a coaching relationship, because people see me on TikTok and they say, oh, I think I would get along with her. We could work well together on this road trip called decluttering. But when people do show up and I realize that they've got some issues that I am not trained to help, I'm not about to get into a situation where I overpromise and underprovide. That would be crappy. I'm here to help. So I will, with love and compassion, suggest that you get the help you need. Okay. All right. Looks like I'm missing some stuff. Where did we got here? Okay. There we go. Okay, how do you dispose of stuff that's taken by Goodwill? Get creative. Trash, recycling, other places. Depends on what it is. There we go. I love Rain said, this is why I'm catching up on stuff. Decluttering, motivating. There we go. Here's the deal. All right, you guys, landfills. Let's talk about landfills, okay? This is going to sound really harsh, but we all are going to end up in a landfill. Right now, all the stuff we have right now, either right now while we're living with it or when we're dead or afterwards, eventually everything is going to go back to the earth, including our bodies, right? So what I want to offer to you is, I know you have noble, do the best you can with getting the stuff to the right places, but do not live in a landfill. How do I say this? It's like, you deserve better. You're trying to save the world, but in the meantime, you're feeling crappy about your stuff. Release your stuff to where it can connect up with people who are going to do good with it. When you feel better, you're going to do better. Okay. I also hate to say this too, but oh my gosh, you guys, I'm not suggesting everybody just pitch everything into dumpsters. No. But what I want to do is put it into perspective. Everybody on this TikTok right now, we are all individuals with individual sized things that, yes, we may have to put in the trash at some point, right? There are corporations and companies and buildings out there that have already spewed enough stuff into landfills that will be 100 times worse than what we all ever will do. And we still live here on the planet. Okay, now I know I'm not articulating this as well as I would want to, but what I realize is your life is your joy of life is worth more. You will do better for the planet when you clean up your home and get yourself in alignment and do better things. Maybe you do that and you said, I really felt bad about throwing away that stuff, but then I was strong enough to then go, boycott a big old company, or I voted for somebody who made them not do that type of thing, right? Put it into perspective. Your life is worth you not feeling like you're living in stuff because if you're surrounded by stuff that could go in that's garbage, you deserve to up your vibe. Okay. Oh, and you're welcome. Thank you for letting me know the YouTube uploading works. That is help. There we go. We live in a digital age. There we go. I love it. Jason says, great advice. Thank you. We had 3 storage units and in May we went down to 2. That's a Liz Lemon high five right there, Jason. There we go. Yep. And think of how much time, when I do a consultation with people, one of the questions I ask is, and it's right there, on a scale from 1 to 10, how is your clutter problem affecting how you spend your money? So think of how much money you're going to save by going from 2 storage units. You went from 3 to 2, 2 to 1. You're making money, Very worn shoes, hate to throw out. Yeah. Examine your thoughts about those shoes. If you're not wearing them, why are you having a hard time throwing them out? I bet you have some feeling of lack in your life about stuff like that it's good. I get that. Many of us have grown up with people who grew up in the Great Depression of the 20s and 30s. We live in a different time now. We live in a time, remember I was talking about you go from a little way of manufacturing things and there was an explosion of manufacturing post-World War II here in the US. We had factories that were used to creating things to fight the war. And then when they stopped, they realized that they were employing people were making money. What can we do to turn these factories into things that make things? So that's why we have this amazing amount of consumer goods. And also that planned obsolescence. Oh my God. My husband and I were talking about that. They don't just make shoes like they used to anymore. They wear out. Now, there may be places you can donate them. I know that I went to DSW the other day and they had a bag you could donate shoes to. So there's that, So just know that we are living in a certain time in our lives that it makes it so much more, difficult to keep track of all the stuff that is so easily able to keep in our homes. Carl Sparks. Carl. God, I can't even talk. Carl. His name is Carl. Almost have my spare bedroom empty. Making it my creative room will be organizing my crafting. I freaking love it. That is awesome. Turn your home into the home that works for you. If you rarely have people over in the spare bedroom, make it into something. This would have been a bedroom, but it's now my office. We have another bedroom in our house that's my husband's studio. Make your home work best for you. Okay. If they are very worn, maybe they will decompose. Plant them in their backyard. Yeah, tell folks I'm no longer collecting XYZ items. I received so many cows a year ago. Yeah, you need to. Actually, Kathy Mormon, excuse me. That's one of the first things in one of the first chapters of, I think it was Jen Sincero's Either I Am a Badass or You Are a Badass or You Are a Badass at Making Money. She talks about somebody who collects owls. I have collected things all my life, and yes, people think of you and they want to be nice. So they say, oh, I thought of you. I saw this thing, and oh my gosh, that's fun until it's not. It works until it's not. I've collected many things. So people to this day, I've had to lovingly say, oh, thank you so much for thinking of me, but I don't do that anymore. Oh, I love that you thought of me, but you don't have to buy that. It's really nice. I love the fact that you even thought of me. There we go. I feel like I keep chunking and still getting nowhere. All right. That's interesting. Have you taken a before picture? Take a before picture of the place you want to work on. And let me tell you, you can set your timer for 20 minutes. You can get rid of some surface clutter and stored clutter in 20 minutes. And then you can take another picture. And that's progress, my dear. That's progress. 20 minutes away from where you are towards where you want to be is progress. If I drove 20 minutes from my home west to Palm Springs, I wouldn't be there. But I will be closer than I was when I started. Okay, there we go. Here, what else do we got? What else do we have? Souvenirs. Oh, I love it. Bonnie says, decluttered my bedroom listening to one of your 2-hour YouTube videos. Lots more, but feel good. It's all about feeling good, people. When you feel good, When you feel better, you do better. Okay. And there we go. Yeah. My mom and I did that a lot. Send each other the picture of the thing. Now, retailers may not like this, but it is a savior. And I've realized myself how little I need to really make me happy. There we go. What else? Okay. Don't throw away shoes you like. Keep them. Yeah, I mean, see, the garbage man's daughter, I've been to a landfill. You have no idea. OMFG. I too have been to a landfill. A friend of mine works at the dump back where I am, and now they have it. It's like a transfer station, but I have been in a van when we were cleaning out my parents-in-law's house in Delaware, driven into, it's like a circle of hell. It's so massive. You don't even know. So your smidge, you're keeping yourself stuck with a tiny amount of stuff that if you got rid of, you would feel so better. You don't even realize it, right? So yeah. Oh, my website is destinationdecluttered.com. I see some people have signed up for the mailing list. As I said, it's just a really cool way of being in the know firsthand. That's always where I'm going to send out the good information about like the monthly Zoom that I do, that when I have consultations available, you'll always be the people that will get first dibs on those. I try to do the balance. I'll be honest with you. I try to do the balance between keeping you informed about stuff that I think you'd like to be informed about, but also not pestering you with like needless whatever. So I'm trying to figure out that balance. I would like to do fewer, better emails than get you annoyed. And honestly, how funny would it be if I was cluttering up your email box, right? So there you go. What else do we have? Yeah, I used to have so much paper clutter. When I went through it, 90% was shredded and burned. Do it. Okay. How do you cope with getting rid of things that you regret, and how to know what actually to get rid of? Here we go. This is why I call my coaching Destination Decluttered. Ask yourself, what do I want my home to look like? Ask yourself, and then listen to your answers and write it down. Then you ask yourself, how do I want my home to feel? How do I want to feel in my home? Write that down. Listen for the answers, write it down. Then you say to yourself, how do I want my home to function? Listen for the answer, write it down. When you have that, you've created your destination of your home being decluttered, right? You've said, I want it to be this, I want it to be that, I want it to be the other thing. That is the very first step in helping you make decisions, because they are aligned. They are aligned with where you want to go. So now you can say, I am here, but now I know why I'm doing this. I am doing this because I want my home to look and feel and function like this. So then you can stay back here and say, okay, knowing where I'm headed, does this thing, can I imagine this thing fitting into that future awesome life that I am envisioning? It helps align your thoughts. And then take aligned action. It's align people. Okay. When you don't know why you're doing it, when you don't know what you want your future to look like, what your home to look like, of course, you're going to be not making decisions that feel aligned with, yep, I'm going to keep this because I want it in my future, or nope, I get it. That doesn't fit. Okay. So there we go. And yeah, and somebody has said, yeah, if it kind of like accumulation, somebody's saying, asking somebody how long it took time for them to accumulate your clutter. Oh my God, people. So when I work with people, it's like losing weight in a way, if you've ever had to lose weight. It didn't, all of a sudden, you didn't wake up 20 pounds heavier. It came on slowly and incrementally, and I'm speaking from experience. So you know how you're going to lose it? Slowly and incrementally. When I start with people, I'll share this with you to start thinking about your own clutter in the same way when you're coaching yourself, is you will have a backlog. I'm always doing this with my hands with a backlog. If you're looking, I'm just kind of making pretend that right before this pin in the map that says like you are here, before today, you have a pile, you have an accumulation of clutter, physical and mental. You have clutter that is there because you have habits of thinking and doing that got you cluttered. So of course, everybody thinks, oh, I need to declutter that backlog. I need to like knock down that pile of stuff and then I'll be fine. That's only part of it. The other part of it is we work on decluttering the backlog, right? The stuff that's accumulated over decades sometimes, but also changing your daily habits of thinking and doing so you do not reclutter again. That's how it goes, you know? So, and I try to, I'm glad you say it makes sense, because here's the kind of information I appreciate is clear, simple, so easy to understand that it just resonates. That's why I use the driving metaphor and the road trip metaphor so often, because you guys, it's so much like driving. Okay? There we go. It's like, where do I want to go? If you don't know where you're going, you're not going to get there. And also make it someplace fun you want to get to. It's not, it's not, what do I want to say? It's like, I call it destination declutter because it's like vacationing. Like, where's a place you're excited to go to? What could get you excited about what your future looks like? When you're excited about, when you've got, and I say excited meaning when you've got some energy, some effervescence, some sparkle, as a fellow friend and coach says, a little sparkle goal, right? When you get some tingly, ooh, that could be good. Ooh, that could be good if that was my life. Yeah. When you've got that as the energy in your tank, you're going to do the things. But if you don't know where you're going, if you don't believe you can get there, like, well, that might be nice for other people, but not me. That was me for decades. When you're like, you know what? I want to do that. I'm going to do that. That's when your life changes and becomes awesome. I'm speaking from experience, people. I don't just, I am not just a client. I am the president. I'm a client, right? And so driving, you didn't know how to do it. You learned how to do it. You learned a little bit at a time. You practiced. Decluttering, you may not have ever been taught a way of doing it, a method, a process, a system, a framework. That's what I teach. So you can repeat it for the rest of your life to keep yourself decluttered once you, keep decluttered, right? But think about it. You're here. Where do you want to go? What do you want your home and life to look and feel like? And when you start falling in love with that, it makes all the decision making so much easier, because you're like, I want to go to there, right? I want my home to look like this. I want it to feel open and fresh and clean and simple. I want it to be easy, because I'm sick of spending all this time doing stuff in my home. I want to do other things. I want to be able to leave my house knowing it's going to be okay, and come back to it knowing it's going to be okay, that everything has a place, that I can just easily roll in here, Yes, if I can clear the physical clutter, the mind clutter will clear. I know it. Bonnie, I'm going to offer that too, but I also want to flip it. Is when you start to pay attention to the mind clutter, that's where the clutter outside of you helps. If you learn from clearing the clutter, you're going to learn that you have a thought. Everybody, this is what I would love to leave with, because I need to hop off at 11:30. I have a consultation. No, I've got coaching. Thank God I write these things down. You have a thought in your head all the time that either makes you feel good or makes you feel bad. When you feel bad, you stay stuck. You do the same old things. You believe it can't change, so you just stay stuck. Crappy thought, crappy feeling. You do something crappy. You stay in a loop. But you have the opportunity to create a better, more helpful thought in your brain. So when you get the crappy thought, flip it around. What's the opposite of that crappy thought? Makes you feel better. The opposite of crappy is better. I don't know. They both have PP in them. Crap, better. No, that's T's. Anyhow, I'll work that out. When you feel better, when you think better, you feel better. And when you feel better, you do better. When you're all excited about what you want your life to look and feel like, when you know, hey, you know what, it felt really good yesterday to do some of that decluttering. I'm going to do more of that because I love making my life more like I want it to. When you do that, it's a game changer, So in conclusion, with that whole notion of what you think makes you feel a certain way, and you feel a certain way, do a certain thing. Make sure that what you are aiming for is something that makes you feel good. Because then you can say, I'm driving towards it. I am the driver. I have my hands on the wheel. I can drive towards that or away from it. I can step on the gas or I can step on the brake. I cannot move at all. What is going to be the feeling that gets you to say, I don't know the whole route. I don't know the whole route, but what little thing can I do today that's going to declutter my home and life so that I feel good that I've started this journey? It's all about starting. Every single day, it's about starting and restarting. It isn't just a one and done. It's a daily showing up and saying, am I going to make decisions about the stuff in my life that align with who I am and also who I want to be, how I want my life to look and feel? And life coaching, that's what I do, but I shrink it down and do it for decluttering, because the great thing is decluttering helps you see visually the effort, the difference you're making when you make decisions aligned with what you want. Okay? And getting stuck, the opposite of getting stuck is moving, and all you need to do is to examine that thought that's keeping you stuck, flip it, opposite, feel better, do something different, okay? You guys, you got this. I know you do. You know what to do until you don't know what to do. And then when you don't know what to do, that's when I become your coach, okay? I am here to help you. I am signing off now because I got stuff to do, but I just want to let you know that there is a couple of things. Get on my mailing list. I'm telling you, that's where it's going to be at. You know, all the good stuff's going to happen there. DestinationDecluttered.com/join. Hop onto the mailing list. You'll get a free habit tracker and an invitation to the July Zoom call that only happens with people on the mailing list. The other thing is too, is I do one-on-one coaching, but I literally don't have a lot of coaching consultation slots right now. So the first people that are going to know when those open up are the people on my mailing list. Other than that, I try to keep it really simple. The other thing too, is I do these TikTok lives often. So if you haven't liked my TikTok page, please do so. That just allows me to know that I'm resonating with people, so I continue to show up. And it also notifies you when I do a live. Now, if I do a live and you miss it, that's okay, because folks have said to me, hey, it's really helpful when you take the recordings of your lives and you repost them on the Destination Decluttered YouTube channel so I can listen to them while I'm decluttering. So I do that. So I'm on YouTube, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook for other people who are not on TikTok. Okay. The other thing too is, there was another thing. Oh, just that when I do TikTok lives, I will always do a video that is the schedule for the week, and it's pinned to the top of my TikTok page. Okay. So like tomorrow, for example, I'll be 2 p.m. Eastern, nothing on Wednesday, Thursday, 8 to 10, nothing on Friday, Saturday, 10 to 11. So you don't have to worry about remembering that like I do. Just go to my TikTok page and like it, bookmark it, something, so you know when to show up. All right. Y'all, you've got this, okay? We have got this. Why let stuff stay in the way? It's just stuff piled up in front of your car. Move the stuff away from in front of your car and start driving towards that life you love, okay? You can get there. I know it, all right? I will see you tomorrow, and drive towards your dreams, all right? Bye.